Joining us now to look a little further at the Supreme Court decision is Byron Henry. He's a North Texas attorney who specializes in constitutional law. Thank you for joining us. I want to get right to the heart of it first. Were you surprised at today's ruling?
With this court and this term, very little is surprising, but I was a bit surprised that Justice Kennedy, who's the swing vote in these cases, joined the majority without any concurrence, basically striking down both of the laws in toto without commenting. So that was the first time Justice Kennedy, since the opinion back in 25 years ago in the Casey opinion that everyone refers to, had joined a majority restricting regulation of abortion.
But not saying much behind it.
That's correct.
So was there a significance? A lot of people look into when the announcement is made, as in today was the last day possible that they could announce these rulings. Does that tell us something, that they waited until this moment?
Well, it can tell you a few things. First of all, this was a very controversial case, and over the past few years, including the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, decision came down on the last day. The same-sex marriage opinions came down at the very end of the term. So it's not uncommon for the most controversial big opinions to come down at the end of the term. One reason is that the dissent in this case, there were two dissents, were extremely lengthy. They were much longer than the principal opinion in the case, so it takes a long time for all the justices to write their opinions and get them ready to issue.
This was the first case that the justices heard after the passing of Antonin Scalia here in Texas. They were going over this. Now they have their ruling. Do you think it would have been different with his very conservative stance when it came to this ruling?
Well, it's hard to estimate, pardon me, it's hard to estimate the impact Justice Scalia has behind the scenes. Basically on the vote lineup, if you have 5 votes for any decision, Justice Scalia's vote with the minority as a 4th vote wouldn't have made any difference in the decision. Whether he could have lobbied or made a decision on the scope of the opinion or anything behind the scenes remains to be seen, but it looks like there are 5 strong votes in the majority to reaffirm a woman's right to access abortion with some restrictions, though not the ones Texas had enacted.
Does this ruling make it more difficult for states to ultimately pass tougher abortion regulations in the future?
Well, I think there's 2 things to keep in mind. First of all, these were pre-viability abortion restrictions. The post-viability bans on abortion, such as 20 and 22 and 24 weeks, weren't at issue in this case. But I think it does serve notice on the states that if you're going to pass laws that are supposed to protect women's health, then you need to have a good record, good medical evidence, because the court is going to scrutinize your evidence and also the impact, because in this case in Texas is such a large state. When you close down all but 9 or a handful of clinics, it means that women have to travel inordinate distances to obtain abortions. Those facts wouldn't be present in a lot of other states.
Right, that's for sure. Okay, Byron Henry, thank you very much for your input today. We appreciate it very much.
My pleasure, Marie.